Okay, so I really don't know where to start on this. I don't know where to attack this. I'm just gonna come out and say it. When the number one song in the country and didn't even need a week to achieve this is a song about you being a pedophile, you really just need to pack it in. You don't need to. There's not going to be a like Drizzy. There's not going to be any like change of the mood this summer. Sit this one out, my nigga. It's looking bad for you. When my niece comes up to me and she says OVO, certified lover boy, certified pedophile, it's fucking bad for you, my man. So just sit this summer out. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady. It is your boy German. Yes, it is Connecticut Static time. And like I was saying in the intro, there's really not much else to say. It's the whatever you thought of the beef, whether you thought Drake won, whether you thought Kendrick won, whether you thought it was a draw, whether you thought it was like a ploy, whether you thought this was like just some BS to distract us. Let's just say this is like the really, really first big, just no real like circling your way around it L that I think Drake has taken in his career. Like there's no real way to like circumvent this, sidestep this. No, the entire world is dancing to a song about you being a pedophile. You are the loser of this beef. I'm gonna say right now, excuse me if y'all hear some like construction or some gardening going on in the backyard. You know, it's just that's life. Deal with it. But it's it's just one of those things right now to where it's crazy to look at because I never thought I would see the day. I never thought I would actually see these two actually beefing this publicly, but here we are. It's happened. Drake asked for it. He pretty much introduced all this by even bringing up the fact that he had like a weird history with young girls in that first diss song he dropped to Kendrick where he was doing the whole AI Tupac and AI Snoop Dogg thing. Um, there's there's no real way to like you asked for it. You out here just calling him out. Everybody's saying that he was afraid to drop, begging him to drop. It's crazy how the man's tone went from this guy's scared, he doesn't want this, he don't want no problems, all the way to when you listen to him on the Hard Part Six, just man, I'm I'll be here to like talk about it when you aren't gonna come with some bullshit. Like you barked up the wrong tree. I don't know who inspired him. I don't know who told him. I don't know who was hyping his head up. And my thing is, if you're gonna do all this, if you're going to fight back, you have there's still different angles that he could have came at Kendrick at. Like there's a whole bunch of weird shit that Kendrick has in his history that is a lot more documents that he hasn't really answered for. He tried to go with the whole did he beat his wife thing with the whole, and he had some good shots at it. Like even the Heart Part Six had some little good spots towards the end. I think when he was talking about if you want to hit me up when you don't when yada yada yada. But nothing compares. This man made a whole song. I'm not gonna talk about Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams was the part where it was really over. But when you have a whole song dedicated to just like your family, where a man is literally telling your mom that he thinks you should die, telling your mom that he thinks you should die, that he's like telling your dad you fucked up, and like it's different levels. And I don't know why, but I feel like Drake is just he just doesn't have it in him to really whatever the red button is that he thinks he's pressing. Sometimes he's never pressed it. So it's bad. It's bad. There's been so much beef going on. There's still other shit to talk about. Chris Brown is apparently going at it so hard with Quavo. They making diss tracks about the other. Chris Brown bringing up Takeoff and shit. It's it's a real just conflict heavy year. I don't know what's in the air. I don't know what is in motherfuckers' systems, but it's just like feels like a lot of motherfuckers just going through it, either with themselves or with other people. And it's you know what? It's only entertaining if you really just enjoy the drama. At this point, I'm just like, damn, I hope don't nobody actually get hurt or really like end up in some bullshit because of all this. Because it's like when you see these things going on, when you see, and I want to get into this on another one that I have coming about Kendrick, because Kendrick really, I'm conflicted on how I feel about him at this point after all this. Some people are looking at him, he's got the whole savior identity, even though he told motherfuckers that he's not a savior. He's not anybody's savior. You shouldn't be looking up to him in that light. He's already said this publicly on his music, but people are still doing it. It's just sort of weird, the angle that he chose to approach this. It's weird the angles that they both chose to approach, because it's like they both didn't go at the stuff that I would have wanted them for. But that's neither here nor there. I'll save that because that is a whole can of worms when it comes to Kendrick, and I'm gonna just say the stuff that he's got the whole voicemail on. Damn, he still has, even Kodak just came out and said they believe in the same shit, and Kodak is a black Israelite, and I'll get into that at another time. But when it comes to Drake, who I want to focus on this one, I don't really know how you ever come back from this. It's been a long time that he's had weird behavior with women. He's been called out on it, but it's never been to this extent. No one's ever called him out on the real potentially, because Kendrick might have said a lot of shit, y'all. He might have came out and called him a lot of things. He never came out and actually brought real concrete proof that he is doing something sinister and criminal. There's a bit, and as disgusting as being a groomer is, which I'm going to come out and say right now, I believe that Drake is. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. When you have, and I'm just going to name this is the only case I'll bring up. You can look up any other ones you want. You can feel how you feel about anything else. When you have a model by the name of Bella Harris, who is following this man since she is 16, when she's posting pictures of herself when she's 17, wearing OVO just stuff, I think it was OVO branded clothing, and he's leaving heart emojis under her pictures and everything. And then when he goes on to the very next year, rent out a restaurant for her on her 18th birthday and have a private dinner between the two of them, which was a date. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about sort of the methods that he's willing, the things that he's like, the routes that he's willing to go? It might be maybe more normal in Hollywood. I'm not going to try to sit there and say he's the only one that does this. He's really not. Like, that's one thing that's also I want to make very clear about this shit that's going on with Kendrick saying what he's saying. You can't just look at Drake and say that he's a weird nigga. You have to look at every motherfucker that he's been around over the past decade. Look at, same thing with Diddy. You cannot look at Diddy and try to isolate him and think that he's the big bad boogeyman and think that not everybody else that he's been around, been very close to, is not complicit, aware, understanding. So I don't know what else to say when it comes to that other than everybody's heroes are trash. Like, I'm a big fan of J. Cole, but the fact that J. Cole has been friends with this nigga and been on tour with this nigga, it's one thing when you sort of start doing your own thing, sort of separating yourself from the industry for such a long time. You willingly got back into this nigga's good graces, willingly was going on tour with the nigga. It's weird all around that niggas are just sort of like, niggas let people rock. It's not a good look. It's not a good time for anybody. This is not something that makes anything about rap look good. Nothing about the industry, nothing about the culture. This is bad for everybody. There's nothing to celebrate because it's like, who's really going to come out of this looking clean? Questlove from The Roots, the drummer, he had a real good tweet that really sort of summarized it. Real good social media post. Pretty much just said, if what Kendrick is saying is true, he's pretty much withholding evidence about a sex trafficking ring for the sake of a rap beef, which is lame as fuck. If what he's saying is true, he's heard inklings, he's known somewhat tidbits, and he's still just sort of letting shit rock. And I mean, we don't need to sort of look at him as hypocritical past a certain point of the fact that he had Kodak Black on his album. That was the lone feature this nigga had, aside from Baby King, on his last album. Again, he's never claimed to be perfect. I'm not trying to say that he is, but it's very ironic that right after he has an album where he talks about healing and dealing with trauma from all these sexual abuse and all these things like this, that he goes after a nigga for being after young girls while he had a nigga who has pled guilty to sexual assault on his album. That was the only feature aside from his cousin. It's just weird to me. So I think we have to just keep that in mind. Drake is not the only person that needs to be looked at weird. I'm looking at Future, I'm looking at 21, I'm looking at a lot of you motherfuckers. And I'm going to just say it right now, with all that being said, I'm probably still going to listen to a Drake song if it comes on and I like it, if there's one that I like. Until I see concrete proof, it's just, I can't just throw somebody away because of allegations unless somebody's willing to provide proof. That is my personal take on it. If somebody else feels differently, I get it. But it feels like this has just been a weird time, and it feels like people are sort of, yeah, we're all just sort of enjoying this and we're enjoying this beef, but it feels like it's just sort of weird. It's taking a weird stance with how the angles that people are choosing to go about it. And also, again, I want to say, I hope nobody does end up getting hurt. You know, this nigga Drake has had people just, I guess, maybe more frequently. Maybe it's just getting reported more, just doing weird shit outside of his house. Hopefully nothing happens to that man. Hopefully nothing happens to Kendrick. Hopefully this all just stays on the wax and the shit gets dropped and we're able to look back at this 5 years from now. It's just that time that Drake took that really big L, and I don't know, actually. People have been saying that he'll be able to recover, he'll be able to just drop another hit and we'll all forget. I don't know. I don't know how you sort of are able to overcome the number one song in the world. Again, maybe let me catch myself. Number one song in America being the fact that you're a pedophile. This is his main demographic. This is the people he's trying to get. Maybe he becomes a worldwide artist and forgets about America. But this is bad. This is something that people are just going to remember for a long time. And it's bad out here for Drake. It's bad.